Howling Fjord. We started our journey at Howling Fjord. The Alliance presence here is still strong. With our fortresses turned now towards diplomatic goals, it seemed the best place to get the most current news and take a gander at the Horde to make sure they're behaving themselves, since they've got a couple of settlements too. It's such a beautiful place. Green meadows cut with chill you to the bone rivers, pine forests and fjords tall and rugged enough to keep a dwarf happy. The native peoples of Northrend, the Tuskar and the Tunkar, have villages in the region. The Tuskar by their beloved sea and the Tunkar far inland. I wager the relative peace of the last few years has them ready for some dwarven diplomacy. On the other hand, Howling Fjord is lousy with the lumbering Vikul. The story is this was their seat of power when they were created, and like most of the ancient races, they tried to sleep their way through the curse of flesh, turning them from immortal stone to mortal people, which also allowed them to sleep through the Sundering. The Lichkin, sending the scourge across Northrend, woke them up, and they returned to claim the keeps and villages they'd abandoned for thousands of years. Still wouldn't have been as much of a problem if they hadn't thrown in their lot with the Lichkin. Any place has its bad and its good, yet with the fresh, chill breeze out of those woods tugging at my beard and nipping at my ears, I feel we've set about our journey on the right foot. Scalawag Point, a wretched port of riffraff and rascality to be sure, though Scalawag Point pales in comparison to Booty Bay, even if the North Sea freebooters are making up for being fewer in number by being worse criminals and murderers. They were previously led by Mad Jonas Sterling, who was so paranoid that he left the relative comfort of the makeshift port to live in a cave with his pet bear. It was his idea to attack both the Alliance and Horde expeditions and raid the nearby Tuskar villages and fleets, taking prisoners as captives. That's a bad enough fate for anyone, but none of the Tuskar survived their captivity long enough to be rescued due to the brutality they suffered. With both Alliance and Horde breathing down the necks of the freebooters, another pirate called Annie Bon arranged to have Sterling killed and took over the operation. There's still a criminal cartel under her, but by all reports they've downgraded from monstrous to merely annoying. Kumagaya. We took a day to feast and share stories with the elders of Kumagaya, the largest Tuskar village in Howling Fjord, no doubt my favourite kind of diplomacy. As fisherfolk and traders, the Tuskar have travelled widely and shared their information just as freely. The round-backed buildings of Kamagar look like monstrous fish, have lower levels dug into the frozen rocky earth which makes them easier to keep warm. It's home to a dock that is built for a turtle boat, which is not a boat at all, but a great sea turtle named Green Island, with a roomy wooden deck and a cargo hold built upon its shell. The great sea turtle swims between Kamagar and Mokai Harbour in Dragonblight. The Tuskar steer him by dangling carrots in front of his face. We noticed quite a few Tuskar fishing boats and canoes heading east. Bran, always the friendly sort, asked where they were going. They said they'd learned of some far-off lands with welcoming ports, ones their ancestors had travelled to long ago. After most of the beer had been poured, we took the opportunity to ask around about this ancestor of ours, Icebelly, mentioned in his letter. Even gave them a few names of uncles and great-uncles who had itchy feet, but none seemed to ring a bell. The Tuskar told us we'd better check out Mokai Harbour, since that's now their biggest settlement and where the storytellers congregate.